Hi, everybody. Welcome to a little interview with Emily. We have myself, Michellina. I play the saxophones, and Daniel, who plays the clarinets. So, Emily, would you like to introduce a little bit about yourself and what's been happening and what you do?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Emily Koh, and I am a composer, and I also play bass, and I also teach. So all those kinds of things kind of take up my life currently. Yeah.
Nice. And maybe a little bit more about where you are in the world.
Yes. Yeah, so I'm Singaporean, but currently I live in Atlanta. I teach at the University of Georgia, so that keeps me away from home most of the year. Um, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and we commissioned a piece with you in 2021, this piece called
Mhm.
Unheard. Will you tell us a little bit more about the background of Unheard?
Yeah, I think for me, Unheard was a very introspective kind of piece. As with 2020 and 2021, I had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do and think about my journey so far. And Unheard is written based on some experiences of just being a musician in the pandemic and being unseen and unheard in such times. So for me, the piece Unheard is exactly as the way the title is. There were times where I felt like very useless and also very, unimportant in society. And therefore, I tried to like lean into these by forcing people to focus on the piece when they hear it by writing out extremely, soft, extremely nuanced kind of stuff for both of your instruments, and also playing with the direct opposition of that, which is crazy, loud, improvisatory, and letting your soul out, kind of screaming. So that was my, idea behind writing Unheard.
Nice. And I think Daniel and I had a lot of fun rehearsing it. It quite very much suited our personalities, right, Daniel?
Can I guess which personality is which?
Please go ahead.
Sure, please go ahead.
I don't want to be completely wrong, but I think the screamy bit is like Mitch.
Why?
I don't know. I just had that like vibe.
Yeah, I guess I relate to both kind of personalities. Maybe both Daniel and I are
Yeah.
like introverted in personality.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
so
think
we,
Mish is more like a introspective screaming.
Mm-hmm.
perhaps,
Yeah.
perhaps.
And then I'm
Yeah.
more outwardly screaming kind of person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so very relatable. But like the whole passage where we had just the vocal audio what is it called? Audio sound
Yeah. Like,
waves. Yeah.
yeah, the sound wave improvised thing. Yes.
Yeah, we had
Yeah.
so much fun. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. That
Yeah.
was the part where I also
It took
had to like
some bit of
ask you.
experimenting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, yeah. With
Yeah.
that, what were the challenges when you were writing for these two particular instruments?
I think, I don't think there were challenges writing for the two instruments because I would think like the usual challenges is like they're both low instruments. And for me, because I'm a bass player, I feel like I know how to deal with the low sounds and the low instruments. And it's also one of my interests is writing for like low instruments and exclusively low instruments sometimes in an ensemble. So it wasn't really a challenge in that sense, but it was, I would say, a new kind of toy to play with, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, I think working
Mm.
with the instruments wasn't a challenge, but with us being far away, like, sometimes I just really want to call you up in the middle of the night and be like, what is this? And then I have to like type on WhatsApp and be like, I hope I don't wake her up in the middle of the night. Yeah.
Yeah. And with the playing around, you also managed to put a little plastic sheet. Maybe Daniel can explain more on the bass clarinet.
Yeah, so there's a instruction for the bass clarinetist to put a paper clip with a laminated piece of paper over the bell, which really doesn't do much unless you play the lowest note and covering the vent hole of the bell. Yeah, and how did you incorporate this into the music, and why this kind of soundscape as well?
Mm-hmm. So like that is the very end of the piece where I wanted us to really end quite low. And I wanted there to be some sort of like airy kind of low feng sound, but I also wanted it to be very subtle, which is the direct opposition of the very beginning of the piece where Daniel, you play really high like multiphonics, but sometimes also a bit low feng sound, but it's like super, super high. So I was trying to draw something, draw a line between those two, and decided that, it might be a cool idea to add like some flappy noise at the end of the piece with a very low note, just to like enhance some of the like air
Mm.
sounds. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
But I must say it's very tough playing with the laminated sheet over the bell. Because it takes so much effort to create such a soft sound. Because it just wants to flap, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so contrary to the flapping sound, it's really hard to make it really soft. Yeah, and still
Mm-hmm.
flap. So hopefully we do justice to the weird sounds that you've imagined.
Yeah. I mean, from the concert, I had people texting me about the last flappy sound. So I feel like, it's already a sound that people associate maybe with this piece and you playing it. So I think in that sense, it's like very successful already.
Yes, I completely agree as
Awesome.
well. Yeah. And how was it working with us as a duo? Any
Oh, I
quirks?
think it's been
Any
very fun.
how
Yeah,
so?
I mean, well, okay, you guys know me, right? Like, I like to look at your pictures of food. So when you guys rehearse and you guys eat together, like, I already know like the vibe of this duo. I already know that, like you have good taste, right? Like, there's stuff that you can like sense from people from what they eat.
It's good to
And
know.
from
Mm.
your Instagram photos and, like just like rehearsal pictures and stuff like that. Like, I know you guys work together very well. I know that you guys can communicate with one another without being like paiseh or anything. So, with that in
Mm.
mind, I felt very comfortable asking you to do different things from normal notated scores, because I know you both will be able to call each other out on some stuff. And I think in general, we have worked together well because I was also not shy to just like send you questions or little sound clips that I find and be like, what is this sound? Tell me how we can do this. I think that there's that level of like knowing one another already before getting into the project. So, we didn't need to like walk
Beat around the
around on
bush. Yeah.
tiptoes. Yeah, that kind of thing. So I
Mm.
thought that was really successful.
Yeah. And I think we really appreciate that from you as well. That, it's just like straight up, no fuss. Yeah. Get the job done. And of course
Yeah.
make beautiful
Yeah.
music. Yeah. Any last
Oh, that's
words
you
from
who
that?
make beautiful
Yeah.
music.
I mean, with the music that we have in front of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. With that, any last words from anyone?
I had a
Cool.
lot of fun.
Great. Thank you,
And
Emily,
Please
for
write
joining
more.
us. Yes, please write more for us.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I have a notebook full of other ideas for bass clarinet and baritone saxophone. So there will be more.
We look forward. Thank you, Emily. Thank you,
Awesome.
Daniel.
Okay. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Emily. See
Bye.
you. Take
Bye.
care.